So we're here at ETH Denver with Peter PPD Dager, who's the COO of Nouns Esports, and Amir Bandeali, who's the co-CEO of Matcha and 0x. And if you could perhaps, well, you probably don't need any introduction for all the Dota fans watching, but in the crypto world, maybe just give us a brief background of what you did in the past, what brought you to Nouns Esports, and what you're doing there.
Sure, thanks. Thanks for having me. Hi, my name is Peter. I was a professional esports player, mostly Dota 2, from like 2013 to 2021. I was the captain of Evil Geniuses, which won the International, which was the biggest esports tournament in the world at the time in 2015. And then I somehow became the CEO in 2017. We sold that company and I got back into being a player and kind of took a step back during COVID to jump into the back end and organization of esports, and found myself learning about crypto and learned about Nouns and saw that Nouns Esports had a Dota team, and I jumped right in and started learning everything I could about it.
Super. So gaming has long been one of the main propositions for crypto. But it's never really taken off into mainstream popularity. So can you give us your thesis on why that's never happened, and perhaps tell us what you're trying to achieve with Nouns Esports that not been achieved before, and how you're doing it differently?
Okay, sure. Very loaded question, but I'll do my best. I think Web3 and crypto brings the promise of trading and transferring digital goods from peer-to-peer, especially, which I think unlocks a lot of cool opportunities. However, many of these games that have thriving economies and marketplaces, those were built way after they became popular. Therefore, you need the users that are playing the game is so exciting and the assets within those games are so exciting to trade, then it really justifies the whole economy being strong behind it. So that's just never really been achieved outside of maybe Axie Infinity, which is a pretty big anomaly in the space, I would say. For me and Nouns Esports, I'm not necessarily a game developer or interested in making my own game or anything like that. My product is esports, which is the culture of competitive gaming. And esports is kind of what happens outside of the game. It's the love for competition. It's a pursuit to find out who's the best, because these people who love the game, they really just want to know. They want to know who's the best, and that's interesting enough to them for this whole world to be built around it. So I've started to learn that tokenization, crypto, NFTs can really help endear people to digital IPs and products. And I've been around esports teams for a long time, and I've seen them really struggle to generate authentic fandom. People will generally follow players who are the brand ambassadors, but when player goes from Team A to Team B, Team A loses 99% of those fans. Therefore, is the organization actually valuable or worth anything? And then you'll see, I'm sure you've seen all these esports team valuations, which are just raising tens of millions of dollars, and what really for? No revenue models were really discovered or incentivized to be discovered. People were just seeking the next raise. And as we kind of come out of the esports bull market, I think we're now a little bit more based in reality. And yeah, we need to get people to be fans of organizations. So I think tokenization can play a large role in that, and that's kind of what we're doing at Nouns Esports. We're empowering our community through tokenization to play a direct role in our decisions and what we do, and hopefully, we can organize this community around our art, and hopefully people will become fans of our organization rather than just our players.
So a more sustainable model.
I feel like a lot of gaming communities have a pretty negative reaction to, any crypto gaming. Even though Nouns Esports doesn't really use crypto, right? It's more just using the Nouns brand. Like, curious if you got any pushback from.
Sure. Yeah, definitely, and it's different game community to game community. And our big games are Dota, Counter-Strike, and Smash Brothers. I would say the Dota community is pretty against crypto and NFTs, and we hear it pretty regularly. However, they completely look the other way with sports washing or sports gambling or even like iGaming and casino stuff. Like that money is we can't do anything about that. That's just inevitable. Whereas like they love to like point the finger at crypto just because I think it's kind of just popular and I don't know, it's like they're engagement farming in a way. Like they get all that, everybody just rallies behind their, NFTs are a scam, people in crypto are dumb, yada yada. But when we go to Counter-Strike, where there's this whole vibrant community that trades digital goods on a regular basis, they have absolutely no problems with crypto. And it just depends on their cultures. And one of our goals is to make crypto soft and provide our fans a quality, their first experience in Web3. We want it to be good, and we want to be like the shepherds who can lead them to understanding the potential of crypto without being torn away from it because of they got scammed on a coin or they bought an NFT that went to zero. So many people, when they hear crypto or NFTs, they immediately think of speculative assets, and we're trying to use the technology to create innovative products. We're not trying to tell people that they should buy our PFP NFT because they're going to get rich. And whenever I talk to somebody about crypto, they immediately reference 2017 or 2021 when they bought in and lost their money, and a lot of that community hasn't really learned about all of the building that's been happening since.
So would you say that you're trying to raise awareness for crypto through like the AAA games instead of through creating a Web3 game? Because the Web3 games don't seem to have taken off without just being populated by speculators. So are you trying something new in what Nouns Esports is proposing, or how do you see it?
Well, I don't know. A lot of Web3 games, like their token, as long as like token price goes up, speculators are pretty happy. But I think their daily active users are generally pretty low across the board. So, is that a game or more of like a financial product? Web3 gaming companies are in a pretty weird place or unique place in that sense. Like they can be successful without users, which is pretty weird. For Nouns Esports, like I said, like we're trying to use crypto to better enable fandom and culture within our organization. So one of the ways that we're doing it is through one of these nounish apps called Prop House, where right now we have a round active for this upcoming Smash tournament. It says, hey, do you want to join Nouns Esports at at Collision, which is this tournament in New Jersey in a week or two? And any Smash player can come in, sign in with their crypto wallet, submit a proposal telling us about them and why we should essentially fund their trip to go to this event. And then everybody from our community who holds a voting token can log into Prop House, submit their votes, and at the end, our community has chosen which player they want to represent us at this upcoming competition. And this is really like great and novel because in the past, like when esports teams sign players, they always have to chase them for the deliverables, and it creates this actually pretty toxic relationship where you want your players to love your organization, but they don't really understand like it's a job and they have to be like brand ambassadors and complete sponsorship deliverables. Whereas when they're the ones putting together the proposal and then we're voting on it, it's really their job to impress us and impress our voters so that way they can get funded again in the future.
Man, as a Smash player and a Nouner, maybe I should apply for this.
Yeah, I think we'll make a special round for you. How about that?
Sounds great. I'll vote for myself.
So, back when you were CEO of Evil Geniuses, you joined at the same time, as far as I understand it, that the organization stopped being owned by Twitch or funded by Twitch and became a player-owned organization. back then Nouns wasn't really around, or it wasn't around. And do you feel like that would have been a lifeline for you, or like an attractive alternative back then? And how would it have changed kind of the course for Evil Geniuses?
Sure. So when we took over when we took over EG, it was a really, really complicated time in esports where anybody that was trying to run a sustainable business wasn't really able to participate because everybody was just raising in hopes of re-raising, which is a really complicated place to be if you're somebody that is passionate about what you're building, I guess. So we were pretty quick to just like turn it around and look for investors to take it off our hands. I don't know if crypto would have been a good lifeline for us at that time. I think it was too early. However, when I was still a player in 2017, I was trying to organize like a players company to basically be like the esports arm of Dota 2 next to Valve. I thought that if I could organize all of the players together in like in a centralized or decentralized entity, we could be the middleman between Valve and the third-party tournament operators. So those tournament operators could come pitch us the players, and then we could vote and decide, what we wanted our season to look like. However, managing a decentralized audience across the world, bringing people in to own parts of it, these complicated equity tables was really too much of a daunting task. And I was, much younger and not as smart as I'd like to think I am today. And I just couldn't figure it out. But when I started digging into crypto and learning about tokenization and how easily people can sort of buy some tokens to have additional voting power or buy an NFT or something, and kind of that ease of transfer, I feel like that's, organizing these large decentralized gaming audiences, I feel like it's actually possible now. And now we just got to get everybody on chain. And I think once we achieve that, we can start doing some really cool stuff.
Do you think we might see like a new wave of like decentralized gaming teams like Nouns? Do you think you're setting the trend, or?
Yeah, so I actually think some of those biggest esport teams with their huge cap tables and investor dollars, I think a lot of them are going to hit a ceiling eventually. And I think that many of them don't have a strong enough connection to their fans to be able to push products, like turn fans into customers for their sponsors. And I think that we're actually very uniquely positioned to be able to kind of start from scratch as a crypto-enabled, decentralized, kind of decentralized team in some sense. So, we're going to have a lot of on-chain users. We're going to know about their spending power and their activity on-chain. And I think those audience metrics, or that audience information, will be what allows us to create really high quality partnerships with other groups, and hopefully actually leads to much better conversions than what we're seeing from like Web2 esports teams.
Okay. So thinking about just gamers in general, you were talking about the different communities out there, and some of them are more resistant to crypto, some are less. Do you feel like 3, 5, 10 years down the line, there's going to be just gamers are crypto native because that's just the way it's going? Or do you think it's going to be a bit more fragmented than that?
Oh, well, I'd like to think that all the crypto will just be in like the back end. Like one of our biggest issues right now is just getting people to like create a wallet and manage the seed phrase and not forget that little piece of paper where they wrote it down. So ideally that stuff kind of gets hidden behind like Discord logins, or they could just connect with their Gmail or whatever, and we're kind of already there, I think. So I don't think it's that far away. I think a lot of people just use crypto for backend because I think it's just better overall. But the regular user doesn't really need to know how their toilet works. They just want it to work, right?
And your community, they need wallets to participate in Prop House specifically?
At the moment, yes. And I think we will maybe adjust that strategy in the future. But yeah, that's kind of one of our hurdles at the moment.
So just thinking about DAOs in general, Noun seems like a very, very active and quite a sustainable one at this point. What is it that sets Nouns apart? Do you think that other DAOs would be following your example at this point? What is it that makes Nouns Esports not another DAO's esports? What's the selling point there?
Well, I think that comes down to networking and like interpersonal relationships. I think our founder, Gage or Sasquatch, is a very close relationship with, like, he was a part of Nouns before they even minted. And so he knows the team like super well and has a great relationship with them, and just actively communicating and providing them updates about where we're headed and staying aligned, I think gives us the safety and security to know that we can go back to the DAO and ask for funding if we need to in the future. This year, we just had a proposal pass for over 2 million USDC, which allowed us to turn a lot of our volunteers, including myself, into full-time employees. And this year we're really trying to establish some revenue streams, and as I mentioned, bring most of our audience on chain, which I think makes us set up better for partnerships with people like Matcha potentially. And we need to show them that there is opportunity here. I think we've already done a really great job of proving to Nouns that Nouns funds a lot of crazy things. I'm not sure if you've seen all the silly things that they vote for. They named a frog one time. They do a lot of, I like to think Nouns funds a lot of unfundable things, which makes it really cool and interesting for people. It's arts.
I was going to say, I've actually been a Nouner for over 2 years now, from close to the beginning. So mostly observer, I guess, but we're definitely very willing to take risks on things. There's not necessarily any expectation of getting anything in return other than just being a good brand ambassador. So it is a pretty unique situation for you guys.
Our ask was pretty large, so we need to, I think this year we need to identify some revenue streams. I don't think we have to be sustainable in order to ask for funding again, but it'll just be up to the DAO in 2025, and we'll try to communicate with as many people as possible to understand what they think is reasonable and what isn't, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, it's already got such a huge network effect, and then you compound that with the global gaming audiences. It's going somewhere. Sure.
Yeah, so people don't. I don't know if we've done a fantastic job of converting esport fans into Nouns purchasers, so to say. But when they see Nouns Esports, it kind of piques their curiosity. They go, oh, what's a Noun? Oh, it's a crypto thing. What's a DAO? Right, and it's kind of just creating awareness of these broad crypto terms, which is kind of opening up their imagination in some ways. So maybe slowly onboarding in an optimistic, hopeful way.
And for what it's worth, I don't think Nouns is trying to get more people to participate in Nouns auctions and buy a Noun or anything like that. I think it really is just get people interested in crypto, help spread the brand. I'm just around here, I see so many people wearing Nouns glasses and stuff, and most of them I ask are you a Nouner? And they're not, right? They just like the project and it's cool.
So just to wrap it up, is there anything you want people to understand better about Nouns Esports, your mission, kind of any misunderstandings that might be out there about esports and gaming, or anything like that?
Oh man. We're still a really young esports organization. We're out there competing up against a bunch of legacy brands in the space that have been there for 10 years. It takes a long time for a brand to gain community's trust and earn lifetime fans, and I think that's really our goal. We want to be as sustainable as possible to last the test of time, and I think we've done a pretty good job of that the past 2 years. We've operated on a relatively lower budget than what most esport teams do. And we've had, not the best success, but we're in the picture. So, I don't know. We're trying new stuff out. And I think a lot of esports has been pretty in love with the status quo. Things have been working out for them, I suppose, but it's kind of a very non-inclusive space, and crypto is inclusive by nature, I believe.
Super. Really well put. So thank you very much for joining. That was a great interview, and I'm looking forward to getting a noun one day. So thank you very much.